In this session, we are looking at the identity crisis of code signing. In many enterprises, signing authority slowly detaches from actual human ownership. Certificates are shared across multiple teams or left behind by systems that no longer exist. What remains is a dangerous amount of release power with no accountable power. Owner. Today, we'll explore how shared and orphaned authority creates a permanent blind spot in your security posture. Every security policy starts with the hidden assumptions that every signing certificate maps cleanly to a specific team or product. We assume that if a marketing app is signed, the marketing team signed it. In reality, standard code signing systems do not enforce ownership. There is no technical link between the key and the person. Over time, as people move and projects change, that mapping erodes until no one knows who is truly responsible for the key. So, to avoid the friction of requesting new certificates, teams frequently take a shortcut. They reuse a single signing certificate across multiple projects or pipelines. While this seems efficient, it destroys accountability. Once a key is shared, you can no longer definitively attribute who signed what or why. If a malicious binary is found, you can tell which of the 5 teams using that key was responsible. Attribution is the first casualty of sharing. Then we have orphaned certificates. These are signing identities that have outlived their systems, their teams, and their original intent. When pipelines are decommissioned or teams are disbanded, the certificates often remain active in a vault or a keystone. Without explicit automated lifecycle enforcement, this signing authority continues long after its business purpose has ended. These are ghost keys with the power to authorize anything. So, in our modern ephemeral build environments makes this worse. We provision signing keys dynamically for a specific build. While those build system disappears after the job is done, the certificates remain valid, often for years. Because there's no feedback loop between the automation and the certificate authority, we end up with thousands of certificates that have no remaining operational owner. So, the technical root of the problem is the standard X dot or decimal 509. Certificates contain cryptographic identity, not business context. They record things like common name or organization, but there's no native field for product ID, approving manager, or project lifecycle stage. Without this metadata, a certificate is just a piece of math. It's a key without a tag, and once it's out of your sight, you have no way of knowing what it opens. This has become a nightmare for compliance. Auditors require clear ownership and traceability. If you cannot prove exactly who authorized a specific release, you have failed the most basic requirement of software supply chain security. Shared and orphaned certificates break the chain of custody. You can show the auditor that something was signed, but you cannot prove it was authorized by a responsible party. During a security incident, time is your enemy. If a certificate is suspected of being compromised, the first thing you need to do is talk to the owner. But if you cannot identify the owner, your response grinds to a halt. Revocation becomes a massive risk. If you kill a certificate without knowing who owns it, you don't know which legitimate production system you might break. This fear of the unknown often prevents teams from taking decisive action during a breach. Attackers love an own authority. Compromised certificates with no clear owner provide them with a durable, low-noise capability to release malware. Because no one is actively monitoring that specific certificate's usage, the attacker's activity blends into the background noise of legacy operations. They are not just using your keys, they are hiding in your administrative clutter. As companies grow, merge, or reorganize, the clarity of ownership degrades even further. Certificates issued 3 years ago by a department that has since been renamed twice are essentially, in quotes, dark matter. They operate under security assumptions that no longer exist, and because they are legacy, they are often exempted from modern security reviews. Time is the enemy of unmanaged authority. The ultimate consequence is that release authority becomes ungoverned. When your signing authority lacks a human owner, the enterprise loses the ability to defend its own software, revoke its trust, or justify its releases to customers and regulators. Software confidence is built on a foundation of accountability. When that foundation is missing, the entire trust model collapses. So let us conclude our topic about authority without ownership cannot be governed. Shared and orphan signing certificates are not just a cleanup task. They represent permanent and accountable release power. No enterprise can safely operate at scale while these ghost keys exist in their environment. In our next session, we'll look at how this unmanaged authority manages to bypass even our strongest identity access management and change control system.